the barren wastes of the Western Sahara. They face an enemy 10 times their number, equipped with tanks, armored cars, and jet fighters. Professional soldiers would say that they have undertaken the impossible. The guerrillas are fighting for their independence in the barren wastes of the Western Sahara. They face an enemy 10 times their number, equipped with tanks, armored cars, and jet fighters. Professional soldiers would say that they have undertaken the impossible. But they are inflicting heavy casualties on the armies of Morocco and Mauritania and appear to be winning the war. The Saharan guerrillas fought their first battle in May 1973. In less than 4 years, that small original group has grown to a force of several thousand men. Learning by bitter experience, they have become incredibly skillful at the art of desert guerrilla warfare. There is no army in the world that knows as much as the Saharans about this difficult type of fighting. They sometimes travel vast distances to carry out a raid. Last year, Nouakchott, the capital of Mauritania, was attacked by a group of 100 Saharans. This operation entailed a return journey of nearly 3,000 miles. Drinking water is always a problem for a desert army. Today the Saharans are in luck. It rained in the night, so they've driven 20 miles to this place, where they knew the water would have collected in small pools. Usually they must dig deep into the sand to find it. And while the young men live and fight in the desert, their families have become refugees. There are an estimated 40,000 of them living in some 20 camps in neighboring Algeria. They have lost practically all their belongings, not only their personal possessions, but more importantly, their herds and flocks. These refugees once owned 30,000 camels and 100,000 goats. Now they have none. Conditions in the camps are degrading and squalid. They say that in the last 12 months, 1 in 4 of the young children has died, mostly from lack of food and medicine. But these are the lucky ones. Some families never reached the camps at all, but were butchered as they trekked across the desert. A few pathetic bundles and a set of tank tracks in the sand are their only witness. Now just the guerrillas remain inside the Western Sahara. Their empty country has become a huge battleground. Organized into groups of between 100 and 200 men, they have perfected the art of concealment. Whenever they stop, they hide their vehicles. In 15 minutes, a column of 20 trucks and Land Rovers becomes invisible from 100 yards away. Their lives are hard. Food is unleavened bread baked in the sand, with an occasional piece of dried camel meat. Drink is brackish muddy water and 3 small glasses of tea a day. Tobacco is their only luxury, and even that is in short supply. Some of these men have lived like this for 4 years. The guerrillas have now carried the war into Morocco itself. Several Saharan units live permanently in southern Morocco, raiding camps and ambushing convoys at every opportunity. This is an attack on a garrison near the small Moroccan town of Bouarat. It is the second in 4 days. They are using 3 Chinese anti-tank guns, supplied by Libya. At this range, some 2.5 miles, and against well-made positions, their small anti-tank shells will have little effect. The operation is simply a reminder that it is the Saharans and not the Moroccans who have freedom of movement in the desert. But it's not just the men who do the fighting. Some 200 girls are also in training and will soon be sent to join the guerrilla units. female instructors have already been in action. The older women run the refugee camps. Uprooted from their traditional way of life, separated from their menfolk, they are rapidly breaking away from the normal constraints of Muslim womanhood. Their activities are still domestic, but their talk is of politics and war. However, for these girl guerrillas, military training is no mere gesture. Their exercises may seem faintly ludicrous as a preparation for war, but guerrilla training generally bears no relation to the realities of combat. Its purpose is the psychological and political preparation of the recruits. Its success must be judged by the degree of determination to fight. These girls won't learn their real battlefield skills until they are under enemy fire. Such a system would horrify a professional soldier, but there is no doubt of the fighting ability of the Saharan guerrillas. This unit is about to attack a Moroccan garrison in Western Sahara, near the town of Hakouniya. The final preparations are rapid and orderly, even relaxed. Approaching through the sand dunes, the column of 20 vehicles has stopped less than 2 miles from the enemy. At this range, the bombardment will be quite accurate, but it puts the guerrillas well within reach of the Moroccan mortars. The gunners know they have very little time once the attack starts. They leave as the second salvo of mortar bombs crashes in behind their positions. It's a wild drive, racing through the dunes for half a mile with bombs landing all around. Out of range, they stop to reorganize. A cover group has been protecting the rear, and when all the Land Rovers are accounted for, and there is no sign of pursuit, the guerrillas decide to leave. They're disappointed, as they'd found a good site for an ambush. The leading vehicles are well on their way when 2 jet fighters thunder overhead. There is a frantic dash to get the cars under cover and then abandon them immediately because they are obvious targets. Everyone waits, hoping the pilots haven't seen the column. No such luck. As the first rocket lands, all hell breaks loose. It's terrifying being under air attack when you know you've been spotted. And then, incredibly, one of the planes is hit. The pilot bails out and is brought back a prisoner. After the noise and fear of the fighting, everyone is slightly embarrassed by the new arrival. He seems like a creature from another planet. The guerrillas drive all night, and the following morning is spent checking equipment. Despite the dash through the mortar barrage and the air attack, no cars were hit, and only one man was slightly injured. Cost to Morocco, a Magister jet and a pilot. He is interrogated by the guerrilla commander. Convinced he would be executed, the pilot couldn't eat for the next 2 days, despite repeated assurances that he would be sent to a prisoner of war camp. By midday, the work's over, and the guerrillas relax. But within an hour, they spot a Moroccan convoy several miles away, moving slowly across the desert. The chase is on. Driving fast by a different route, the Saharans intend to catch the convoy as it passes through a range of hills to the east. It works exactly as planned. "250 Moroccan soldiers, 8 trucks, a jeep, and 4 armoured cars are caught on a wide gravel plain between 2 lines of hills. The guerrillas open up with their anti-tank guns. The fire is returned by the armoured cars. But the Moroccans are pinned down. Finally, the Moroccans get their mortars into action and start to range in on the guerrilla positions. Some of the bombs land uncomfortably close. Suddenly, the mortaring stops, and the Moroccans start to pull out. But for some reason they leave behind 3 trucks and 35 men. A handful of guerrillas move off their hilltop positions, intent on capturing the trucks. They get to within 100 yards of the Moroccans before they're seen. Under intense fire, 12 guerrillas move into the attack. As they advance, the 25 Moroccan defenders abandon the trucks and retreat into a gully. The guerrillas close in until they are shooting it out at a range of 15 yards. A guerrilla races through the storm of fire, leaps into one of the Moroccan trucks and drives it out. A moment later, the second truck is taken. Having got what they came for, the guerrillas shout to the Moroccans to surrender. In so doing, a man is killed. Ammunition exhausted, the first group pulls out. A second wave prepares to go in, then a third. The battle lasts well into the night. 32 Moroccans are killed, 3 are taken prisoner. Like the pilot, they expect to be shot, but they too will be sent to a prisoner of war camp. The Saharans claim to have taken about 200 Moroccan and Mauritanian prisoners in the last 12 months. The captured trucks are unloaded. It turns out that 2 of them are full of ammunition. Despite help from outside, the guerrillas depend heavily on vehicles, weapons and ammunition taken from the enemy. This haul is regarded as good, but not exceptional. There is a .50 heavy machine gun and 4,000 rounds of ammunition, 2 tons of mortar bombs and a 120mm heavy mortar to match, 2 VHF radios, and enough cooking oil to last the unit several months. They also found 30 rifles on the battlefield. All this at the cost to the guerrillas of 1 man killed. By contrast, Moroccan losses are high. Perhaps 30 vehicles a month, 50 men a week. It is doubtful if Morocco can sustain these sort of casualties for very long. Unless there is some drastic change in the local balance of power, the Moroccans are going to lose this war, and the Saharans will soon gain their independence. If that happens, the repercussions may be felt far beyond these empty desert wastes.